Hi, this is a recap of the action fantasy movie, Fate Stay Night, Presage Flower. Spoilers ahead. In the pouring rain, teenager Shiro Emiya is greeted by Sakura Matu, the little sister of his archery club friend, Shinji. Shiro's legal guardian, Taiga Fujimura, arrives home and nearly strangles Shiro for bringing a girl home. Sakura tells them that she wants to help out in Shiro's home. Each day, Sakura comes to visit, and she is eventually allowed to help with daily chores. Over the year, Shiro and Sakura become close friends. It's the first day of school, and Shiro's archery club members try to get Sakura to join. Shiro is an amateur magus, able to use magic to examine and reinforce the components of objects. As he works on his task, Shiro begins to have a flashback of him standing in a world of flames, one that he's had many times before. Looking up, there's a dark sphere in the sky. Archery club and student council member Issei asks Shiro if he's dating Sakura, which he says no. The two encounter Shinji, who acts coldly. As Shiro is no longer in the archery club, Shinji tells him to keep his nose out of other people's business. Shiro sees a dark-haired girl helping Sakura, Rin Tosaka. Sakura becomes a little self-conscious. On their way home, Sakura asks Shiro if he's not going to the archery club anymore, and he replies that Shinji wouldn't like that. Sakura disagrees. As Shiro and Sakura part ways, Shiro hears insects. An elderly man appears from the shadows, saying that Shiro's been taking good care of his granddaughter, and the man asks if the Einsburn girl is doing well. Shiro doesn't know. Walking at night, Shiro notices a girl with white hair, dressed in a foreign winter outfit. That night, he has the dream of flames again. He recalls that after the events of the dream, he was saved by Kiritsugu, his adopted father. He sees the foreign girl, who tells him that if he doesn't summon his soon, he will die. As they are preparing a meal, Sakura drops a plate in shock when she notices traces of blood on the back of Shiro's hands. Sakura acts strangely and asks Shiro to return home as soon as possible after school. Entering school, Shiro experiences a strange sensation. He looks around, but nothing seems out of the ordinary. Archery member Mitsuzuri greets him. After school, Shiro goes to look for Sakura and is met by Shinji. Sneering, Shinji wants Shiro to help him do the cleaning for the club. Shiro agrees. All club meetings have been cancelled because of a murder in a nearby town. Sakura goes by herself to an aquatics shop and looks at the swimming creatures. Shiro stays behind late because of his cleaning. Suddenly, blades clash, and Shiro feels the pulsation of energy even from afar. Shiro tries to run away frantically and ends up in the hallway of the school. The scene changes to Shiro lying in a pool of his own blood. He grabs a scarlet pendant, and a man carrying a spear tries to kill him. A summoning circle is imbued with magic, and a mark appears on Shiro's hand. The heroic spirit, Saber, is summoned before Shiro. Saber engages in battle with Lancer, as well as Archer, who is in service of Rin Tosaka. Shiro uses his command spell to stop the fight. Rin takes Shiro and Saber to the church to talk to the priest, Kire Kodamine. Saber notices the white-haired girl approaching the church. The girl asks Saber if she's heard of the name Einsburn. Kire asks Shiro for his decision, and Shiro decides to be a master. The girl introduces herself to Shiro as Ilyasvil von Einsburn. Berserker appears behind her, and she tells him to kill Shiro and his company. Berserker nearly lands a critical blow on Saber. Suddenly, Shiro runs forward into the way of Berserker. He pushes her out of the way and is fatally slashed, but he wakes up alive and intact, with Saber holding his hand. Saber says that Shiro healed his wounds through his own powers. Rin hands Shiro a drink and announces that the next time they meet, they will be enemies. Saber and Shiro enter a dimly lit alley, finding classmate Mitsuzuri. She's been drained by a servant. Shinji appears, revealing that he is a master, Shinji's servant. Rider engages in battle with Saber. Saber easily defeats her with a single strike from her sword. Shinji tries to force Rider to continue fighting, but is unsuccessful. Zoken appears, and Shinji is terrified. He says that he has not one expectation from Shinji, which makes Shiro think that he's forcing Sakura to participate as well. Shiro brings Mitsuzuri to the church to help her. There, he sees a blonde-haired man. Kire tells Shiro that he's taken care of Mitsuzuri's treatment. He reveals that 10 years ago, he faced a man who kept standing despite suffering fatal wounds. That man would later go on to win the Holy Grail War. His name was Kiritsugu Emiya. Saber tells Shiro that she was beckoned into this era for the last war as well, that she fought as a servant for Einsburn, and her master's name was Kiritsugu Emiya. Saber says the priest was his greatest foe. Saber and Kiritsugu were victorious, but Kiritsugu betrayed the Holy Grail at the very end, and Saber destroyed it. Shiro says to Saber that the Kiritsugu he knows wouldn't abandon anyone who's fallen victim in the war. At home, Taiga pleasantly meets Saber. Shiro talks with Sakura, but notices a bruise on Sakura's face. He asks if Shinji did it. At school, Shiro tells Rin about his encounters with Shinji, and that he's worried about Sakura, who may become involved in the war. Rin suggests that Shiro should keep her safe at his place. Shiro suggests to Taiga that Sakura should sleep over. Saber urgently tells Shiro that Sakura has fainted, and Shiro tends to her side. Sakura asks why Shiro wants her to stay over, and Shiro tells her that he's worried about her. At Ryudu Temple, the servant assassin is brutally killed by the true assassin. Caster encounters him. True assassin kills both Caster and her master, Suichiru Kuzuji. Rin tells Shiro she went to Ryudu the previous night. She says Caster was using the temple as her stronghold. When she arrived, Caster had already been snuffed out. Their teacher, Mr. Kuzuji, was murdered. He was most likely Caster's master. Rin suggests to Shiro that they should fight together, for the time being. Shiro accepts. He tells this to Saber. At the door, he finds Shinji, who had just hit Sakura. Shinji wants to continue their fight from the other day, and Sakura interjects. She says she would do anything Shinji asks, so that he would stop. Sakura comes to Shiro in his shed, wanting to talk. She tells him about when she first saw him, and asks about how Shiro feels about being adopted. Shiro says that he didn't mind it, that he grew up doing housework and wanted to be like Kiritsugu, a hero of justice. Sakura asks another question, that if she became a bad person, would Shiro be able to forgive her? He replies no. He would be strict with her. An emergency medical event is occurring in the city. Assassin is found by Lancer, and the two battle and chase across the city. They continue their battle, and a dark entity emerges from the swamp, grabbing hold onto Lancer. Lancer casts a barrier to protect himself, but it's futile. Assassin uses his noble phantasm, Zabanya, an instant kill ability on Lancer's chest. Lancer casts his own noble phantasm, but Assassin curses Lancer's heart and kills him. Rin meets with Shiro and Saber, and they uncover Zukin in hiding. A heroic spirit is summoned, the reanimated corpse of Caster. Seeing this enrages Saber. Caster creates a supernova, and the lights of the city completely go out. All parties are shocked by a dark, ominous figure. Caster throws her supernova at the figure, but it is completely absorbed. The figure absorbs Caster, then extends a shadow toward Rin, who is pushed out of the way by Shiro. Shiro gets hit, and his mind becomes distorted. Kirei asks Shiro what he saw, and Shiro tells him about what happened. Kirei tells him that Assassin left the temple the night Caster escaped, because his servant, Lancer, witnessed it. Kirei inquires that Zukin and Caster weren't the only ones Shiro saw. Rin tells Shiro she's going after Zukin in the Matu estate. Sakura speaks to Saber. She doesn't know what Saber and Shiro were doing, but Shiro was brought home injured. She doesn't want him to face danger. Shiro says he will go after the shadow, and Rin responds that their alliance is still intact. The two separate to go on their respective missions. At Ryudu Temple, Saber tells Shiro about what Sakura said to her. Saber states that she failed to protect Shiro because of her inexperience. Even so, she will fight together with and protect Shiro. A swarm of insects appears before Shiro, along with Assassin. Saber knocks Shiro aside and engages in battle with Assassin. The shadow entity strikes from the ground and grabs hold of Saber. Dark magic seeps onto her, and she feels a shock. Assassin says that because Saber is pure, she will lose her sanity. Meanwhile, Shiro battles with Zukin. Saber unleashes a wave of magic, and the dark magic starts to dissipate. Assassin uses Zabanya onto Saber. Saber, not wanting her heart to be taken, kills herself. Shiro's command spell disappears, and he is confronted by Assassin. Rider appears and intercepts him. Assassin and Rider engage in a close-quarters battle, and Rider swiftly defeats him, but he escapes. Shiro searches for Saber, but she's nowhere to be found. In the Matu estate, Rin and Archer find Zukin's training room. Saber sinks into the depths, drifting further away from the holy grail that she's yearned for so long. A hand grabs onto her. Saber turns and sees an altered version of herself. Shiro sees Sakura, who has been waiting a long time for him in the cold. She's distraught that he's injured, and he apologizes. Sakura welcomes Shiro home. Thank you for watching. If you liked this recap, please like, subscribe, and leave a comment.